A pleasant morning to one and all present here. We are gathered here for an auspicious celebration of Youth Day. This is this day is celebrated to honor the memory of Swami Vivekananda. Youth is the time of life when one is young and means the time between childhood and manhood. No segment in the society can match with the power, idealism, zeal, and courage of the youngsters. As we are talking about zeal, I would like to mention our beloved principal as a perfect example. Now, I would like to call upon our beloved principal sir to address the gathering.
Yeah. Good morning to all. Respected Chairman of Chennai Institute of Technology, Sri P. Sriram sir, Heads of Department of Chennai Institute of Technology, Faculty, Fraternity of Chennai Institute of Technology, and dear students. On this wonderful day, I extend a very warm welcome to every one of you for today's National Youth Day celebration at Chennai Institute of Technology. You are all aware that National Youth Day is observed on every 12th January every year to commemorate the birthday of Swami Vivekananda. It is also known as Vivekananda Jayanti. This day was declared as Youth Day by the Government of India in 1984, and it has been celebrated in India every year. So every year our country is celebrating this day with a particular theme. And for this year, the theme what our country has selected is, it is all in the mind. That is the theme. It is all in the mind. Yes, if your mind is pure, if your mind is not corrupted, then definitely your action will be pure and your action will bring lot of outcomes. As an youngster and as a student, you should always keep your mind pure. On the day of occasion of this National Youth Day, the Government of India selects this particular theme to make more vivid and momentous by embodying this particular theme. Dear students, you are very well aware that at our Chennai Institute of Technology, we regularly conducting lot of festivals, events, especially events to commemorate the birth anniversary of great leaders. The main purpose of conducting these type of events are to sensitize all our students and as well as our faculty member towards our constitutional obligation and also to make you a perfect citizen of India. Swami Vivekananda, his revolutionary ideas are still recited by students. Swami Vivekananda has devoted his life to directing the strength of youth for the service of the nation. He wished for the youth to recognize their potential and to express their views. He used to say that all power is within you. It is up to you to bring out all the power for the growth and development of our nation. So on this wonderful day, I wish you all a happy Youth Day, and also I insist all you to identify your internal power and keep all your mind pure and exhibit your activities. Once again, I extend a warm welcome to all of you for this wonderful day, and thanks for the opportunity. Thank you.
Good morning. On this special occasion, addressing the students, it's a very happy moment for me. Vivekananda is the icon of youth. Okay, even though 100 years before, still, if you see his photo, it's something that will inspire you. Okay, that drive your learning abilities and learning aptitudes. Something unbelievable kind of charisma it has. Swami Vivekananda's anniversary celebrated as Youth Day. What else? He is the not only now, even in the forthcoming years, centuries, decades, he will be the youth icon of India. There is no doubt about it. Irrespective of religion and also various states, we have so many diversities, but he is the best icon for our youths. So on this special occasion, I call upon all the students, please learn his biography and also various quotes and preaches, whatever he has practiced in his life. Amazing. Okay. I read about him when I was very young. That inspires a lot. Many of I always have Swami Vivekananda's photo at my office. More than 30 years, I can say. Each day, without remembering him, my day never passed. Okay, each and every day, he drives me. That kind of charisma he has. Values, unbelievable kind of belief in Indian culture. Even though we have so many diversities, we as Indians should be united. And he also knows the power of youth and the power of education. That's why we have chosen his quotes in our library, renovated library. You can, whenever the next opportunity comes, whenever next time you visit our college campus, you can visit library, you can see him. So, Chennai Institute of Technology, like Swami Vivekananda, want to be a very young, dynamic and vibrant, and also would like to transform the lives of people, students, peoples, millions of peoples. We wanted to touch millions of people's lives, and we would like to transform millions of people's lives, not only in India, wherever people are suffering, wherever technology is required, wherever the people are aspiring to have better life, we need to touch their life. You are all young. You have many, many years ahead in your life. You must focus. Education is the manifestation of perfection already exists in human. This is one of the best quote by Swami Vivekananda. Yes, the education is the only means by which you can improve yourself as an individual, and spiritually, and also materialistic in this materialistic world, and also you can transform your family and society. There are plenty of problems out there, plenty of problems. So if you have strong determination and willpower to overcome, and commitment towards your service to the society and betterment of your own life, that's first. If you are improving life, definitely you will care for your family and other society also. It is possible. So you have more energy and the time also available. This is the right time for you to take decisions and have clear goals. Arise, awake, and stop now until you reach your goals. That is another quote, famous quote, that gave lot of confidence for youths. These quotes, unbelievable. You have lot of ambitions. You are all having lot of ambition to have better life. Okay, please focus on that, have better goals, and daily every day when you wake up, you have some goals, right? At the end of the day, please see how many of the activities, planned activities in that particular day you have completed. Like that, each and every day you do, definitely you can improve your life and you can set your own goals also. That is possible. Thank you very much. Best wishes. I wish on this Youth Day, Swami Vivekananda's birthday, whatever goals you are planning to have in your life, you should have it now itself. Then you should work towards that to achieve that. It is possible. Nothing is impossible unless you don't want to have it. If you have aspirations, definitely you can accomplish. Thank you very much. Best wishes.
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring words. We are really overwhelmed. Now, we have Mr. Kamahilan to shed some light on some interesting facts about Swami Vivekananda.
Thank you, Ravanya. A pleasant morning to one and all present here. I am Kar Mugilin from first year IT department. Today, we are celebrating National Youth Day. And we must be proud that we youths are being celebrated and we are recognized in this day every year. And the only reason for that is Swami Vivekananda, who has rendered an immense support to the youth community. Today, I feel glad that I'm here to enumerate some great interesting facts about Swami Vivekananda. Swami Vivekananda was born on January 12, 1863. He actually had a different given birth name, which was Narendranath Datta. Talking about his music knowledge, he was trained in Rupert classical music by Beni Gupta and Ahmad Khan, two maestros, and could play musical instruments like sitar. Right from his childhood, he was known for his speed reading. In other words, he could read any lengthy book within few hours. He was renowned for his unimaginable memory, that he could quote or cite any fact or statement that he had read many years back with accuracy. There was an hilarious moment that had happened in his life. Swami Vivekananda used to borrow books from the library in large volume and used to return them the next day. This trend continued for a number of days. Then the librarian doubted whether Swamiji really read them or not. One fine day, the librarian asked him what he does with the books. Swamiji said that he had studied all of them thoroughly. To judge his statement, the librarian asked him questions on a random page of the book. Swamiji answered him instantly and also quoted some of the lines from the same page. The librarian was surprised to see that he had memorized them as well in such short time. Swamiji was fond of green chilies. He treated them as an essential part of meat. And talking about his food habits, Swamiji loved khichdi and it was regularly served in his monastery. Swamiji was fond of tea and also coffee, which he regularly took after breakfast, lunch, and even after the dinner. Swami Vivekananda was the man who took the Vedanta philosophy to the West and reformed Hinduism drastically. Swami Vivekananda used to worship women, but he had a strict rule that inside his monastery, no women, including his mother, were allowed. Swami Vivekananda had as many as 31 ailments: liver and kidney damage, insomnia, migraine, asthma, diabetes, and are to name a few. He observed and inflicted immense pain to his human body and neglected it throughout his life. During his last few days, he said his disciples to learn from his experience. Always pay attention to your human body and to stay fit. Vivekananda hated cowards. He writes to John P. Fox, "I like boldness and adventure, and my race stands in the need of that spirit very much. My health is failing, and I do not expect to live long." Finally, Swamiji had always said that he will not live till 40 years of age, and he died at 39. Swami Vivekananda is a blessing to India. Whatever incidents happened in his life is an inspiration. He awakened the spiritual consciousness of the Western world and gave a new light to India's spirituality. He is a role model to youth and he is widely worshipped all over the world. Besides all these, he was an all-rounder. He was a trained musician, orator, athlete, philosopher, saint, and possessed a gigantic intellect. He managed to achieve so many things in a short life. Isn't he a great inspiration for every one of us? Absolutely yes. Let us all preach and practice his principles and get enlightened in our lives. Thank you everyone for patiently hearing my speech, and I thank the English department of CIT for giving me this opportunity. Hope to meet you all in another great session. Thank you so much.
Good morning to one and all present here. I am J. Cheryl Trefina from Computer Science and Business Systems Department, here to talk about the topic, a youth representative. Jan 12 was declared as National Youth Day in 1985 by the Indian government to honor the great philosopher Swami Vivekananda's birthday. Today is the 37th National Youth Day. The youth of our country constitute 22% of India's population, which is more than 261 million people, larger than the population of Pakistan. Our country considers the people within the age of 18 to 29. The Youth in India report by the Ministry of Statistics states that the median age of Indian population will become 31 years by 2031. Youth representation. Youths have not been directly concerned with policies developed by hierarchies. As a result, their needs have not been well defined. Youth exclusion can create significant tensions in society. An example of this can be traced to CPE, First Employment Contract in 2006 in France. Employers could hire youths under the age of 26 on short term employment contracts. However, this policy sparked nationwide youth protests and strikes because the policy was poorly designed due to inadequate consultation with youth beneficiaries. In addition, skills and experience from the aged and adults have not been effectively transferred to youths. Thus, for youths to gain better future experiences, they need to be represented in formal bodies. Youth centers. Youth centers offers organized instructional programs for physical activities such as dance, yoga, and martial arts, and for academic and arts programs such as science, crafts, and theater. It also offers opportunities for unstructured activities such as game playing, socializing, club meetings, and outdoor play. My hope of the future lies in the youths of character, intelligent, renouncing all for the service of others, and obedient, good to themselves and the country at large. Youth means to place your firm confidence in yourself and exercise your hopeful determination and resolution and willing good intention in this beautiful task of self culture. This will truly bring supreme satisfaction and fulfillment not only to you, but also to all concerned. Thanks for listening to me. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Shakti from Mechanical Department, and I'm here to give out a small speech on youth's individuality. We cannot always build the future for our youth, but we can build our youth for the future, quoted by Franklin D. Roosevelt. Youth is a very important stage in one's life, but it's not always the case. The future of a nation and the future of anything is dependent on a youth's hands. So there is already a huge and immense pressure and expectations set on the youth to carry out the process of running the society. It is given importance in every single institution to develop the youth, to set up, to befit the previous generation's expectations. Now, the question is, are those like, what is youth development? Is it really just filling the seats? No. Youth development is a process that prepares a young person, a young mind, to meet the challenges of adolescence and adulthood and achieve his or her full potential. Youth development is promoted through activities and experiences that help youth social, ethical, emotional, physical, and cognitive competencies. Now, that was a pure definition out of the book, Boring Sides Apart. The real question is, are these parameters really met the developing of youth? As a fellow youth myself, it is really hard to answer this question. In an ever-growing and expanding society of different type of people and desires multiplying every day, my answer to this is no. At least not completely, or like not on all factors. Let me explain. Youth social skills, behavior, education, mannerism, and sense of politics. These are the factors really looked upon and developed by all the nations to develop the youth to run their societies, respective societies. But there are many other factors which are not given much importance. What are those? Like mental well-being, expressing of emotions, social skills, logical skills, and problem solving. And there are much more psychological problems faced by every single youth in our current society. Me, and even everybody listening. Like stress, depression, addiction, overthinking, anxiety, liability, and like liability to take decisions in the heat of the moment, much more. I don't think I have enough figures to count all this. These may all seem very personal. One may raise a question how developing these aspects will benefit the nation, will benefit the government, will benefit the society. But all these aspects give a person their own individuality. This is what makes the person themselves. It gives them their own identity. It defines them emotionally and mentally. It is their individuality. While we try to develop our youth and the society successfully, their individuality is at risk or not looked upon. When youth develop like without individuality, it will be very superficial, will not hammer into their brain. What will happen if it's superficial? The ultimate goal of the youth development is to reach the goal of successful society, to run a successful society, a healthy society out of that. So if they lose their individuality, they divert to different paths. Like one may get greedy, one may let their desires rule them, one may get addicted to money. It's all about diversions. Now this contradicts the main ultimate of development of youth. They're just repeating the old generation's mistakes again, or even worse. So I believe individuality, as aspect of individuality, will prevent these obstacles in youth development. There's not enough awareness or enough people to help the youth to overcome these obstacles, to develop themselves out of it, ourselves out of it. But I hope today, this Youth Day, will help us develop ourselves and to create awareness to everyone about the importance of youth and their individuality. Thank you, everyone, for listening, and I wish you a very wonderful Youth Day ahead of you. Thank you again.
A warm welcome to everyone present here. I am Amudavali R from First Year AIDS Department, here with Mabishashini from CSC Department, Sangeeta from EEE Department, and Hariharan from CSC Department. And we are going to speak about the history and philosophies of Swami Vivekananda. Nowadays, in this digital world, everything happens through online. We spend most of our time in front of mobiles and laptops. We kill time by watching social media. We all are passionate about posting reels on Instagram. But once there was a curious kid who was passionate about meditation. He was a kid who wasn't scared to climb the Shenbaga tree.
What's wrong about the tree?
Actually, he was threatened that the ghost of a Brahmin lived in that tree.
Of course he is. He is a naughty and restless kid. His parents often face a lot of difficulties in controlling him. Even his mother will say, I prayed to Lord Shiva for a son, but why he sent me one of his demons? Can you guess who he is?
I know who he is. He is the one who owns the wonderful monument which stands in the rock surrounded by Lakadar Sea, where the three oceans, Bay of Bengal, Arabian Sea, and the Indian Ocean meet.
Yeah, he is the great saint Swami Vivekananda, who was a great thinker, philosopher, orator, and a social reformer. He is one of the great leaders and believers of youth power.
Wow, it seems he would have led a fascinating life. Can you tell me his life story?
Vivekananda was born as Narendranath Dutta on 12th January 1863.
Wow, it's today. Are we gathered here to celebrate his birthday?
Yes, Sangeeta, you are right. Since he was a person who believed in the power of youth, we celebrate his birthday as National Youth Day. He was born in a Bengali family with 8 siblings to Vishwanath Datta and Bhuneshwari Devi. The progressive rational attitude of Narendra's father and the religious attitude of his mother helped shape his thinking and personality. He was interested in spirituality from a young age and used to meditate before the images of deities.
Wow, that's very interesting, buddy. Amudavali, can you tell us about his schoolings and college life?
Sure, Mabisha. In 1871, at the age of 8, Narendranath, who was now called as Vivekananda, enrolled at Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar's Metropolitan Institution. He studied in that school until his family moved to Raipur in 1877. In 1879, after his family's return to Calcutta, he was the only student to receive first division marks in the Presidency College entrance examination. He was an avid reader in a wide range of subjects, including philosophy, religion, history, social science, arts, and literature. He was also interested in Hindu scriptures. Narendra was trained in Indian classical music, and he also regularly participated in physical exercise, sports, and organized activities. Narendra studied Western logic and culture at the General Assembly's institution.
Wow, then he must be such a brainy student. Is he a topper?
Not exactly. He scored only 50% in his BA education, but he was very fluent in his English. He was also known for his prodigious memory and the ability at speed reading. Several incidents have been given as examples. In an incident with Dr. Paul in Germany, Vivekananda was going over some poetical work and did not reply when the professor spoke to him. Later, he apologized to Dr. Paul, explaining he was too absorbed in reading and hence did not hear him. The professor was not satisfied with his explanation, but Vivekananda quoted and interpreted verses from the text.
Now I say about how we met Ramakrishna. The relationship between Ramakrishna and Vivekananda began in November 1881 when they met at the house of Surendranath Mitra. Ramakrishna asked Narendranath to sing. He was highly impressed by his singing talent, so he invited him to Dakshineshwar. Narendra accepted the invitation and went to Dakshineshwar to meet Ramakrishna. This meeting turned out to be a turning point in his life. Although Narendra didn't accept Ramakrishna as his master at first and found him monomaniac, he eventually became one of the closest people in his life. Ramakrishna shaped the personality of Narendranath and prepared him to dedicate his life to serve humanity. After the death of Ramakrishna, Narendra and his other monastic disciples established their first monastery at Baranagar. Sangeeta dear, can you say us some of the philosophies of Swami Vivekananda?
Yeah, sure. In line with the influence of Western ideas, Vivekananda stressed the importance of individual development. Swami Vivekananda realized three things are necessary to make every man great and every nation great, namely, conviction of the powers of goodness, absence of jealousy and suspicion, and helping who are all trying to be and do good. Swami Vivekananda suggested trying to give up jealousy and conceit and learn to work unitedly for others. He said that purity, patience, and perseverance overcome all obstacles. He suggested taking courage and working on it. According to Swami Vivekananda, patience and steady work are the only ways to achieve success. Amudavali, do you have something to add?
Yes, Sangeeta, I have something to add. According to Swami Vivekananda, faith in ourselves and faith in God, this is the secret of greatness. Swami Vivekananda observed the history of the world is the history of few men who had faith in themselves, and it is the faith which calls out divinity within. So he said, if people have faith in 330 millions of Hindu mythological gods and in all the gods which foreigners have now and still have no faith in themselves, then there will be no salvation. To Vivekananda, religion was not mere theory, but an actual practice to be applied in life, raising the brute into man and man into God, stating, it is being and becoming, not hearing or acknowledging. It is the whole soul becoming changed into what it believes. He hated the religious rituals that were in practice during that time. Vivekananda also noted that meditation in isolation won't suffice.
Swami Vivekananda later left this world on 4th July 1902. Even though he led a short life, his life is an inspiring lesson for many youths. The Chicago incident made us clear that marks are just numbers, but talent matters.
Of course, Vivekananda is especially remembered all over the world for his speech at the Parliament of World's Religion in Chicago 1893, where he extended the hospitality of Indians by addressing all the audiences as sisters and brothers of America, which obviously left everyone speechless. He covered the topics including universal acceptance, tolerance, and religion, which gave him a standing ovation. Swami Vivekananda demanded only 100 youth to change not only India but the whole world. He truly believed that youth can completely transform the fate of the India through their hard work and dedication. Don't think that we are too young to make a great move. The small, tiny, innovative ideas of each youth in our country can bring an effective impact in our society. From Vivekananda to APJ Abdul Kalam, everyone had a great faith in the power of youth. So we, the youth generation of our country, have a great responsibility to ensure a great future for our nation. Thank you so much for connecting with us.
Thank you, Peeps, for the keen and advantageous discussion. And now we have a panel discussion by Jayesh Paul and the crew.
Good morning. Thank you so much for investing your time with us on a Wednesday morning. My name is Jayesh Paul and I'm acting as the moderator for this panel discussion. Today, we have an amazing panel on Swami Vivekananda's qualities, where we will be talking about what made him special among the others. But before we dive into the panel introductions, I want to take the temperature of the room. I'm happy to introduce my panel members, myself, Jayesh Paul from CSBS, and Srihari from AIDS, Shruti from CSE, and Rohit from MCT, Vidya from EEE, Anusati from CSE. I would like to hand over the heat to Vidya. Over to Vidya.
Hello everyone, Here I am here to tell you a few words on how Vivekananda has inspired us, has been a great inspiration in our lives. So, devotion under Guru is one of the most important quality that one must have under the list of discipline. Vivekananda has shown great respect and devotion to his Guru in his lifetime. His devotion is matched with none. His passion on learning new things brings respect to the ones who teach them. Youth often forget the importance of teachers who teach us. We are to bow to their teaching and sharing all of their knowledge regardless of who the student is. A teacher knows your potential more than a student himself or herself knows. We can't see a life without a teacher. Even if we don't observe or notice, they are our building blocks who piece together the parts of our life. They sacrifice a lot more than anyone, but it's just that we don't see it. They are our guide to our paths no matter who has inspired us. They deserve all the respect and devotion from every student. Guru is the means of realization that there is no knowledge without a teacher. Passing on to Choprika.
Real education. Education is manifestation of the perfection which is already in man. Knowledge is inherent in man. No knowledge comes from outside. It is all inside in us. Swami Vivekananda further argues that no one was really taught by another. Each of us has to teach himself. Vivekananda also emphasizes that education is not the amount of information which we are going to put into our brain and undigested all our life. Vivekananda also says that real education is not a book learning and it is not a diverse knowledge. To Vivekananda, essence of education is concentration of mind. It is not about collecting all the facts. I think nowadays youth needs a kind of education by which character is formed, strength of mind is increased, the intellect is expanded, and by which one can stand on one's own feet. Passing to Shruti.
Swami Vivekananda was a spiritual mentor to all the nation and civilization. He was a multifaceted personality who was inculcated with a mind as broad as the sky, as deep as the ocean, and as pure as a crystal. India is a country full of youngest people and has the power to meet any challenge with the collective consciousness and effort of all the people, especially the youngsters. And as a result, the young and innovative minds, who are the youth of the country, are filled with ideas that are revolutionary and can change the way things work. But not all of them are successful, and that is because we are not fully motivated. We have become lazier and rather choose shortcuts to get something done. But in order to bring about a change, we have to have an indomitable will and patience. Vivekananda has always inspired the young minds of the nation, and he believed in shaping our personalities and developing them in this phase of our lives. An impatient person is often restless and easily irritable and might not hesitate in saying things that can hurt other people, and consequently, an impatient person is likely to offend other people with their behavior. Hence, if you care about your relationship, you must be patient and focus on the good qualities and individual traits of the people around you. We can learn to stay in control of our emotions and avoid negative feelings such as anger, frustration, and helplessness. I would like to end by saying that Swami Vivekananda once said, if you have infinite patience, perseverance, success is bound to come. And there's no mistake in that. Over to Rohit.
In my point of view, reading so much books gave Swami Vivekananda the motive and vision for all his great deeds. There is a common saying that one book can change the entire life of a man, which is absolutely true. As a student and youth of the society, we must inculcate the habit of reading, which most of us would have started by now. If not, started right from today on the mark of this auspicious day. By reading a book, we will get the complete wisdom and knowledge about something that the author is speaking about. It sometimes helps us to learn from the author's mistakes in the past. Without stopping here, we will also get the motivation and idea to apply those advice and instructions in our own lives and get better results in whatever we do. In modern era where we youths are obsessed with mobile phones, book reading may seem boring at first. But if you choose a good book which is related to your area of interest and get really into it, then we can easily catch up with the reading habit. With the help of technology, it is not even necessary for you to leave your phone to read books, since you get many books online for free of cost. Books have the capability of inculcating a great idea in our minds and helps us to push through the limits to achieve it. Reading 12 to 15 books in a year is ideal. If you can read more than that, it is well and good. So today, together, let's take a pledge on this 159th birth anniversary of Swami Vivekananda to initiate the habit of reading just like him and improve our knowledge and life. Over to Sri Hari.
Honesty. Honesty, the quality that should not be violated in life. No legacy is so rich as honesty, said by William Shakespeare. Being honest may not get you a lot of friends, but it will get you right once, said by John Lennon. Once, Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, Guru of Sri Vivekananda, asked his disciples to steal rice from their own house. But there was one condition, that nobody sees him stealing the rice. After a week, all of his disciples came back with the rice except one. Everyone was happy that they were able to complete the task given by their Guru by stealing the rice without no one noticing them. Sri Ramakrishna asked that student reason for coming empty-handed. Student replied that even if he tries to steal the rice without no one noticing him, but he himself saw himself stealing the rice. So there was never ever a situation when he could have steal rice when nobody is seeing. Because whatever we do, it is never hidden from one person, that is ourselves. The student who came empty-handed was none other than our Swami Vivekananda. Moral, whenever we try to do something wrong, even if we hide it from everyone else, we cannot hide it from ourselves. So we should always be honest. Thiruvalluvar, in his Tirukkural, he says, Nilayin Thiriyadu Adangiyan Thotram, Malayinum Mana Peridu. More lofty than a mountain will be the greatness of the man who, without swearing from his domestic state, controls himself. Chapter, The Possession of Self-Restraint, verse 124. As long as you have faith, honesty, and devotion, everything will prosper, said by Swami Vivekananda. Over to Jace.
Now let me go into a little leadership now. Who is a leader? The person who is in the top position doesn't automatically become a leader. A leader is basically a visionary, a person who sees more than others see, a person who can inspire others. Let me put some light on leadership qualities of Swami Vivekananda based on his life incidents. While traveling to Himalayas, one of his disciples fell ill, and Swamiji served him till he got cured completely. From this very incident, we can infer that he was a selfless person. Another incident from childhood, he climbed a so-called haunted tree to show his friends how to get rid of fear. From this very incident, we can infer that he can train anyone. As a symbol of courage, he was once asked by a TTE to leave first-class coach for a few English to do, to which he scolded the TTE so badly that he felt ashamed of his behavior and ran away. His words never failed to infuse fresh energy and enthusiasm to the listeners. The Chicago speech was one such incident which helped many others to see his visionary ideas. In his vision, man is none other than the supreme divinity under a tiny material cover, and human life is nothing but a continuous struggle to express the divinity within. Known in East and West, inspiring personality, preached rational and humanistic teachings, awakened American consciousness to Vedantistic teachings. Over to Shruti.
Now let me throw some light on Swami Vivekananda's life as a social reformer. He gave a call for building up a new India by struggling against untouchability, poverty, social evils, and injustices. He condemned caste system, rituals, ceremonies, and superstitions. He urged the people to imbibe the spirit of liberty, equality, and free thinking. He was the first leader in modern India to speak for the poor and downtrodden masses, and he firmly believed that the main cause of Indians' downfall was the neglect exploitation of the poor. So that is why he spoke up about the basic necessities of life, such as food, clothes, and shelter for the Indian poor. He believed that the solution of this would be to make Indians learn modern methods of agriculture and cottage industry, and eventually he came on to become a symbol of unity. Now, youth life is the active development and fulfillment of these processes. Today's youth needs enormous perseverance to take part in multifaceted challenges that we face in today's society. And he intended us, the youth, to recognize this great duty and take up this wonderful privilege as an adventure, as the future of the world depends on us. Now, as the youth, we need to place our firm confidence in ourselves and exercise our hopeful determination, resolution, and willing good intentions in this beautiful task of self culture. This will truly give us satisfaction and help us shape our life better because it's all in our hands. Just like Swami Vivekananda reforming the society evils, we as the youth should also do the same by forbidding ourselves and everyone around us to stop performing negative activities and eradicate the differences that we bear in our minds for each other. Let me conclude by Swami Vivekananda's quote. I do not believe in religion that cannot wipe out a widow's tear or not bring a piece of bread to an orphan's mouth.
And the next topic is talking about motivation. Vivekananda has been a great motivator. Motivation has a huge part in youth's life. Vivekananda taught us unconditional love, reinforced the importance of giving back, and taught us how to be a better person. He has stressed the role of youth in India and helped motivating many. His words are no less inspiring and interesting to hear. By the lectures and speeches of Vivekananda, many youths were inspired to the ideas of social service and character building. Vivekananda dedicated his life to teaching and guiding the youth the importance of social service and laying the groundwork of character and leader attributes. Vivekananda is always a man of magical words who teaches us the way to live. He also taught us how to achieve success and keep ourselves organized. But what next? Don't worry, he hasn't left that behind too. His words teach us that we have to celebrate our success. Celebrating is a part of this and it is worth your hard work. Coming to politics, youth and politics play a major role. When Vivekananda was young, he questioned the validity of superstitious customs and discrimination based on caste and religion. With discrimination comes the basic topic of gender. Let me give you a few examples. Feminism. Feminism refers to equality of all genders, equal opportunity to regardless of any basis. Youth plays a crucial role in politics, and it is important for them to know it all and keep pace with the current affairs. Youth is where politics start grabbing attention, and it is our duty to learn and analyze and lay hands on the right side. Youth is where we turn into citizens of our country, and we are responsible. Thank you.
Yeah, fully confident. Swami Vivekananda says about importance of self-confidence, which means having faith in ourselves. There are some important things that Swami Vivekananda said about his life. The old religion says that he is an atheist who doesn't believe in God, and now new religion says that he is an atheist who doesn't believe in himself. We cannot believe in God until we believe in ourselves. In Vivekananda point of view, we should never mind failures as they are quite normal. All the youth should learn that we can overcome any difficulty by constant practice. The remedy for weakness is not brooding over weakness, but thinking of our strength that what we can do. We should be confident in ourselves to achieve our goals. At last, Vivekananda says that take risks in your life. If you win, you can lead. If you lose, you can guide. Over to Srihari.
Patriotism of Swami Vivekananda. A monk has to sacrifice all personal and materialistic belongings. Being a monk, he cannot confine himself into a particular place or region. He is for everyone, though Swami Vivekananda was a monk, but he had beautifully shown us how the materialistic world linked with the metaphysical entity. He was of the opinion that being a part of this world, we must not ignore the duties that we must do for the betterment of the materialistic world. Even if you are a monk, those duties could not be ignored. Swamiji had great love towards his motherland. As per Swamiji, his country was not less than his mother, and it was his primary duty to protect the dignity of his motherland. Any disrespectful attitude towards his motherland would make him very angry. The sense of patriotism was very high to Swamiji. One day, a person asked Swamiji, "Don't you think you must sacrifice the delusion of the materialistic world, including the love towards your country? And in fact, that patriotism do injustice to others? Being a monk, you should have seen all other countries as your own country, right?" Swamiji answered, "A man who cannot protect the respect of his own country, one who cannot feed his own mother, how could he feed other mothers? First, feed your own mother. Then you can obviously feed others. Never fail to serve your motherland." He thus always vouched for patriotism. As per Swamiji, a monk always has a duty to serve his motherland. First, love your country and eventually make the whole world yours. At last, I want to quote some points from Swamiji's famous speech for youth in Sanskrit. Uttishtata, Jagrata, Prapyavaran, Nibodhata. Iti. Tasya upadeshanam saraha evam asti. Nirbhayo bhava, sarvadevo bhava, rashtradevo bhava, uttishtata, balam avalambasva. He manusha, durbalo mabuhu, manava seva eva, madhava seva, sarvaihi snehabhavena bhavitavyam iti. The quotation from Kathopanishad stated by Swami inspires Indian even today. Rise, awake. The essence of his teachings is be fearless, worship country as God. Rise, take hold of strength. Hey man, don't be weak. All should live with a friendly feeling. Service to mankind is service to God. Thank you.
Another quality of Swami Vivekananda which inspired me a lot is his tension for the welfare of the world. Welfare of the world, world peace, renaissance cannot just happen by a single individual, but it can be achieved by a small group of young minds like us. This is the motive behind Swami Vivekananda's famous quote in which he says, "Give me 100 energetic young men, and I shall transform India." My faith is in the younger generation. Out of them will come my workers. They will work out the problems like lions. His faith in the Indian youth never wavered. He believed and lived by the ideals of sacrifice and service. We all wish for the welfare of the world, and especially for the welfare of humans. But what most of us contribute to it? The answer is nothing. We do nothing and expect others to do something that we wish. In my perception, this is the greatest blunder that humans make when it comes to implementing a world-changing idea. Most of the youth forgets their duty towards the society at some point and concentrates only on their personal growth. The most in the remaining does something good in return for fame or wealth. And very few do a selfless job like Swami Vivekananda. So if you want to see and live in a reformed world, then just start contributing towards it. We may not be able to do so now, since we are still dependent on our parents both financially and emotionally. Once we stand on our own, we must pitch the best of our efforts to reform the society. Because according to me, the world will cherish only when selflessness becomes the selfishness of every human being.
Well, conscious mind of Swami Vivekananda. Truth is power and untruth is weakness. Each soul is potentially divine. The goal is to manifest this divinity within by controlling nature externally and internally. Spiritual knowledge can be attained by a person when they are in complete silence internally. The spiritual knowledge is invincible and it can only be realized by the individual. It is a remedy for all social evils. The Atman, the divine one, and immortal self in all is the only rational sanction, says Swami Vivekananda, for all ethical and moral life and action for all humanistic impulses and behavior. When man manifests the Atman in his life and behavior, even a little, he becomes fearless and at peace with himself and at peace with the world, for then realizes his spiritual oneness with all. At last, I would like to conclude that Swami Vivekananda was not just a Swami, He was a living legend with unattainable experience and knowledge. If time travel is possible in near future, it's worth every penny to meet this legend. Thank you.
That was amazing, guys. Thank you. And we came to the end of the program. First and foremost, I would like to thank God keeping each one of us safe from this pandemic. Next, I would like to thank our principal sir and chairperson for year and their contribution. Now, I would like to thank our dear teachers who made this happen. Without you teachers, this program would not be possible. Thank you, teachers. Next, I would like to thank all our participants and backstage contributors who add extra joy and colors to this day. But last but not the least, I would like to thank all their youngsters and my dear friends present here. Thank you.